guitarist Stephen Carpenter, drummer Ave Cunningham, keyboardist Frank Delgado, and the larger-than-life vocalist Chino Moreno. And for this album, they are also joined by their current touring bassist, Fred Sablon. So I'll now give you a very brief rundown on the band's history. Formed all the way back in the late 80s, they signed with Maverick Records, where they gained a critical and commercial following through the release of their first two albums, Adrenaline and Around the Fur. In 2000, they released White Pony, which was met with widespread critical acclaim for its genre-bending sound that set it apart from other new metal bands at the time. Following releases, such as their self-titled album and Saturday Night Wrist, saw them further delving into this new shoegazy sound they created. In 2010 and 2012, following the tragic injury and eventual passing of original bassist Chi Cheng, rest in peace, the band dropped Diamond Eyes and Koi no Yoken respectively. I personally consider this era to be the peak of the Deftones' sort of dreamy, shoegazy sound. 2016's Gore and 2020's Ohms saw the band go in a different direction, a more spacey, sonic direction that was still popular among devoted fans, but it certainly divided critics. Getting into the track-by-track review, we start with My Mind is a Mountain, a thunderous opener that automatically inserts Deftones' spot on the throne of alternative metal. The riffs are loud, but not overly aggressive, and Chino Moreno's dynamic vocals ranging from cleans to screams also stand out on here. I also got to give credit to Delgado's synths, which on this track and the record as a whole add an important layer of sonic depth that gives it this magical, mountainous quality. Locked Club sounds very interesting. It doubles down on the heavy riffs with some very bold spoken word lyrics from Chino, but overall, it's not my favorite. The next track, Edyssis, originally didn't land with me, but upon recent listens I've grown to appreciate it. It's got these really awesome, heavy sort of Stephen Carpenter riffs, but also a really beautiful soundscape from Delgado's synths. Up next is Infinite Source, and if Deftones were to have dropped a third single from this album, then this would be the one. It's less heavy and has more of this dream pop sort of sound, peaking with this infectious chorus with introspective lyrics. Souvenir is not my favorite off the album, but it's still a very enjoyable track. Clocking in at over 6 minutes long, it's the longest track on the album and one of the longer songs in Deftones' discography, largely in part due to the needlessly long ambient outro. Oh man, this sort of made the song feel a little bit tedious and kind of a bore. CXZ snaps the record out of that ambient daze, though, with these really aggressive riffs and the dreamy synth soundscape that we're used to seeing. I Think About You All the Time is a beautiful example of the quiet, soft dynamic that Deftones employs a lot. It starts slow, but then it explodes into these thick guitar layers. But the lyrics here are easily the standout. They're very positive, and I'd say even very uplifting. Like someone with their share of demons finally realizing they found inner peace. All right, Milk of the Madonna. Wow, what an amazing track. This is the second of the two singles from the album. It's heavy, fast, aggressive, yet it's still so incredibly ethereal. Chino's lyrics on the song also are really fantastical, and they go with the music to paint this really apocalyptic scenery. The music really reminds me of Swerve City from Koi no Yoken, with its upbeat tempo and roaring guitars, but still during that bridge, it has that guitar solo. That's what that track reminds me of. But this track is far better than even that song. I'd say it's one of my top 10 favorite Deftones songs. Cut Hands incorporates the sort of spoken word / rapping delivery from Deftones' early albums. I don't think it really lands with me for this song, to be honest, but on the other hand, Metal Dream is a really beautiful track that opens with basically the same thing, just rhythm and spoken word, before it blasts into a beautiful chorus with this really nice wall of sound. The lyrics here are really romantic and ethereal. I know some people are not as big on this one, but I gotta give it credit because everything here flows very smoothly. Departing the Body has sort of an ambient sort of intro that leads into a quiet guitar melody. With how low Chino's voice is in this opening lyrics, you think you'd be listening to the baritones. Get it? Because baritones and Deftones. But jokes aside, this song is amazing. The chord progressions are simple and beautiful, and the lyrics are still fictitiously powerful as you'd expect. The loud-soft dynamic is also really effectively done here, much like a lot of the other tracks. Talking about the record as a whole, I think it's the best thing Deftones has put out since Koi no Yoken. It's musically diverse, but still concise for the most part. For a band that has more or less had the same sound for the past 25 years, it's really amazing how they still manage to put out fresh-sounding material. I mean, there are some songs on here that are worse than others, but none of them seem out of place on this record. Chino's lyrical prowess really shows on here as well. The lyrics, which largely deal with mental health struggles, are very abstract in a poetic sort of way that I really relate to. Instead of literally saying what's on his mind, his lyrics allow you to truly feel what. I'll give it an 85 out of 100. No Alternative will be back right after this. Welcome back, music lovers, to No Alternative, Oswego's alternative music show. I am your host, DJ Dash, and unfortunately, I have to announce that this is the last segment of tonight's episode. This segment I call DJ Dash's Music Diary, where I'll be doing a segment this segment I'll be doing at the end of every episode, where I'll be presenting you with all of my current most listened to songs that aren't on any of the albums I reviewed on a current episode. Alright, so the first song I have is Forest by System of a Down. For those of you who are in the alternative and metal communities as a whole, this band really needs no introduction. They're really among the best in both genres. Their fantastic 2001 album Toxicity recently celebrated its anniversary, and Forest is the 8th track off of this album. And it's a blistering track with soaring vocals from Serj Tankian and the lyrics, which are becoming ever more relevant in today's climate. Next up, I've got a track called My Heroine by the band Silverstein. Hailing from Burlington, Ontario, just a few hours away from here, Silverstein was one of the leading bands in the mall emo movement of the 2000s. Their most popular track, My Heroine, shines with arguably more raw emotion than most other bands of this era can muster. This track and the album, Discovering the Waterfront, is really phenomenal and could potentially be a candidate for a classic album review later down the line. Well, that is it for this episode of No Alternative. I am your host, DJ Dash. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a nice night.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oswegolazo. I'm here today. My name is Nick Stetter, as you guys know, and I have another guest. And no, it's not Mike. No, it's not a ghost in the other room. It is my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Brewer. Sam, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm from Binghamton, New York. I played soccer 12 years of my life. This is the first year I'm not playing, but I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a freshman here on campus, and me and Nick came up with this show together in our class, and I'm finally here after missing the first 2 weeks.
Finally here is correct, man. And everything was good you said there except the Chelsea fan. But besides that, we're going to talk about what we're going to see today. We're going to see some Oswego soccer, men's and women's. We're going to talk about the tables like usual and some predictions. We got some Champions League talk. We got the Player of the Week, obviously, the most important award in all of soccer. And also we're going to talk about a team that's not doing so hot recently. But we're going to start off with Oswego soccer, and we're going to start on the men's side. Sam, what have you seen from the men's soccer recently?
So I have unfortunate news. Their season is officially ended.
Oh, my God.
They had a heartbreaking loss to Buff State. It was 1-1, goal by Ellis in the 57th minute, and the last 10 minutes, we just fell apart. 3 goals hammered in by Buff State. Not much to work with there.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean...
How are the women doing?
Yeah, I mean, the season's over for them. Unfortunately, no SUNYAC playoff contention. The women's side, however, man, they are in the SUNYAC playoffs. They are the 6th seed. They're playing against Fredonia November 1st, and it's good on them. They had a record of 3-2-4 in the SUNYACs, a losing record, unfortunately, but you know you're not going to get much out of it, even though you're in the SUNYACs. And Fredonia, they just lost to them 2-1 in the last game of the season. So I think that they really got to look back on that game, do a lot of studying, and realize who's there for them. And to end the actual regular season off, we had some amazing players. Kyla Sustad, she had a great season. She had 5 goals, 8 assists, a phenomenal season for her. Amber McDermott as well. She was just an engine in the midfield. She was an engine. She had 4 assists and 3 goals on the season too. And Sam, on the men's side, you know, their season's over. What were some stat leaders maybe for the men?
Well, obviously, you had Ellis with the last second goal. He actually ended the season as the goal leader for the team. Lindsay ended shortly behind him. And they are the two that pulled ahead, really, and scored the majority of the goals for the Lakers this season on the men's side.
I think that the men's team, and I went to a lot of the men's games. I was actually a commentator for some of the games. I commentated on WTOP-10 as well. And, you know, I watched a lot of the games. They did grow a lot during the season, but they grew too late, in my opinion. I think that really, really rough start to the season, Sam, and I think that they kind of found their own. They found their own as the season went on, but realistically, it's too late. It's too late. They found their form too late, and it led to some unfortunate mishaps at the end of the season, and obviously no SUNYAC playoffs, man.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. The women, though, they have a lot to look forward to, and I think that with the team they have right now, I think they could possibly upset Fredonia. I think that Fredonia might not be ready for what the Lakers have in front of them, and I think that SUNYAC playoff game is going to be an amazing game, and the Lakers might hold it off. But real quick, for the men's side, I want to talk about, Sam, who do you think next year, coming into next year, they didn't really have that many seniors, who do you think is going to be some stars for the men for their next season?
Just looking at some underclassmen,
There's a lot. There's
there are a lot of underclassmen to look at. I mean,
I'm personally thinking that Ian Husselbeck, Jr., a lot of juniors. So they're going to have a big senior class next year. Ian Husselbeck's going to be a great player. His brother Kieran, too. To Jay, you mentioned earlier, he will also be a senior next year. And it's going to be a wild ride for the Lakers next year. I feel like they're going to be a lot better than they were this year. Yeah. And real quick, final thoughts on their season.
Just ended the season with a 0-0 tie to Fredonia. Mm-hmm. Not the ending you want, but it's better than a loss to end the season. Yep,
better than a loss indeed. And for the women, we wish you good luck in your SUNYAC matchup November 1st against Fredonia. I believe it is at Fredonia. I might have to fact check that on the broadcast at break. My apologies. But good luck to the women. We are very excited to see them play and see how they match up. We're going to go to a break really quick. We thank you all for tuning in so far and hope to see you after the break here on WTOP-10.
If you like action, romance,
if you're watching this,
and highbrow humor,
surface is this?
Floor. Minch did not legitimately put his head in the toilet.
there's only one place to turn.
No!
Tune in to new episodes of
Oh boy!
only on WTOP.
Look at the number of disasters in the U.S. Chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I had to eat a raw egg on Chris's dormitory floor.
I currently don't have any federal pending charges.
You know what you never did? You never walked to Walmart, Chris.
That's my co-host. This is for making me eat roast Pop-Tarts.
It's showtime, Chris. Come on.
I want to be on the air for that. I got a couple things to say.
No. Spin the wheel. But you got censorship.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to...
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Oswegolazo. We're going to take our talents across the pond to European soccer, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nick Stetter with Sam Brewer, just like you saw before, and we're going to start off with Sam and La Liga.
La Liga, there's been some good matchups recently. Starting off this morning, Real Madrid versus Barcelona at the Bernabeu. Barcelona looked to come in and take over, but unfortunately they cannot do it. They ended 2-1 this morning. Barcelona, Rashford had the assist to Fermin Lopez. Yeah, that's what it was. And then, so Barcelona's still in second. Madrid is topping the league still. Villarreal has been making a good push. Nothing crazy out of Espanyol or Atletico. Atletico just losing to Arsenal in the Champions League this last week.
Yep.
Real Betis falling. No notable moves from anyone else. This table is as of Sunday or Saturday.
Okay, yep.
I have the updated one here on my computer, but I don't think anyone has really moved in the last few days.
All right, and we're going to take a look at the Bundesliga now, the German league. The Bundesliga, and as all of these tables, by the way, for your information, are of Saturday. I have the updated ones here, but I don't think we have much of a change. So the Bundesliga we're going to look at. We have Bayern Munich still perfect. 8 out of 8 wins in the Bundesliga, playing amazing per usual. Leipzig go to second. I think they actually stayed in second from the last time we were on the show. Leipzig in second, Dortmund third. That's going to be a battle for second and third there. Leverkusen from fifth, the champions of the Bundesliga. I think 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago or last year?
I think last year.
Last year? It was last year. Fifth now because of managerial problems. Obviously, Xabi Alonso leaving. And we look at the rest of it. There's not many changes. Me and Mike were talking about it last time. Mönchengladbach still at the bottom of the table. They might get relegated. That's a sad sight to see. No wins on the year for them yet. And we're looking at Wolfsburg. They've climbed a little bit. They've seen a little bit of good doing in their soccer play so far. They're playing a pretty good game right now. And besides that, Frankfurt, sixth. They're going to stay as a mid-table team in the Bundesliga for years to come probably because they just produce so much talent that they can't keep it. You know what I mean? But besides that, that's really the Bundesliga.
One thing I did want to talk to you about, I know you have the table in front of you. Dortmund fell to fourth, I believe.
Yes, they did. And Stuttgart, who are in fourth on this table, are now third in the Bundesliga with 6 wins and 2 losses. And that's really surprising for Dortmund.
Yeah, that is a big blow for Dortmund. I think they can work their way up towards the end of the season, but it is going to take a big push, a big rally to get back up to that spot they need to be in.
So what are we looking at on the French league side?
Over to the French league. So, to nobody's surprise, in the French league, PSG still up on top.
All right.
And then Marseille fell. They were in first not too long ago.
Oh, wow.
And they have now fallen to third.
Oh.
With Lens in second. Monaco, I think, has been steady in fourth for a few days, or a few weeks, excuse me. Lyon moving up to fourth now, which drops Monaco to sixth.
Oh, wow.
And Lille is in the 5th position now. So a lot of moving around in the French league like usual. It's hard to tell early in the league who will come out on top, unless obviously it's the league favorites every season, Paris Saint-Germain. They're favorites in almost every competition they're in, and I think they'll just continue to put out good players, good games, good scores.
Yep, classic PSG. They're just going to dominate that French league every single year, and I don't really see much changing unless Lens can do some surprising, you know what I mean? But if we take a look to our next league, that's going to be Serie A, the Italian league. There's been a lot of shakeups and a lot of close games in the Serie A recently. I'll tell you what, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Napoli staying on first. This is updated from as of Saturday, remember. We have Napoli, which are 6-0-2 on the day, still first. Roma still second. Milan, AC Milan will be third. Inter will be fourth. And Bologna and Como, fifth and sixth. Pretty big areas of improvement and a lot of change up on this. Como were eighth when this last table was shown. And also I want to talk about how Juventus have fallen from grace. Juventus have fallen to eighth on the table. It's been a weird showing there. Also, we're going to talk about them later in the Champions League. They haven't been performing in that as well. But besides that, not really many surprises at the bottom of the table. Lazio 10th on this table. Lazio were 14th, so they're working their way up. They're usually a force to be reckoned with in the Serie A, but as of this year, no dice for them, man.
One thing I want to ask you, how do you think Kevin De Bruyne being injured will affect Napoli? He injured his hamstring taking a pen.
Ooh.
In the Champions League, I believe.
That's going to be a big hit because he was their best player by a mile. Yeah. I think that he was phenomenal, and it might cause to some losing, and Roma might sneak up there and take that first place spot from Napoli, man.
I think the end of the Serie A will be a race between Juve and Roma.
Yep. But what do we see on the Prem side?
Over in the Prem, I hate this team, but Arsenal topping the league. In the lead by 4 points. They're gaining a pretty substantial lead. The places below them, 2 through 5, have been changing almost every day. Sunderland now down to 4th. Bournemouth takes the 2nd position after Tottenham taking the 3rd over City, and City dropping to 5th, United in 6th. And now, one thing, Nick, I wanted to ask you, as a Liverpool fan, Liverpool down to 7th.
Yeah, Liverpool have been a mess, I'm not going to lie. They've been a mess recently, only winning 1 out of 5 games recently, and that one game was in the Champions League, so they're 0-4 in their last 4 games in the Premier League. I'll say the start of the problem. Start of the problem is this guy and Milos Kerkez. Okay, if we're talking players, he has no output. He has done nothing. He's lazy out there, man. He's done everything he wants to, but it's been a mess, and I don't think he's going to perform well. And Kerkez, he looks lost. He just looks like he's running like a wild rabbit out there, and he's not doing much to improve. And Slot needs to really get under his managerial wing, get in his brain, and be like, listen, we got to actually attack because we're playing too passive. We're passing back to Van Dijk. He's getting about 40 touches a game just off one times back to him. And realistically, they got to tighten up because this is getting bad. You are the reigning Premier League champions, and I am sick of watching us lose to Brentford. We're losing to Brentford. And by the way, Brentford, they're my second favorite team. I love when Ivan Toney was there, and I love when Yone Wissa, Brandon Buemo, they're all gone now. But it was a mess at what happened to Liverpool.
One more thing at Liverpool I want to touch on. Wirtz. He has finally gotten the name off his back. 007, 008, 009, 010.
Thank God.
He finally got himself an assist, ending the
long
name calling.
Want to know who hasn't, though? Alexander Isak. Isak is still, I don't know if he's 07 yet. I think he might be 06, 05.
I think he's on 6 so far, but
yeah,
he's pushing.
But we're going to take it to another break really quick. Actually, we're not going to take it to a break. My apologies. We have some predictions. I forgot about the predictions. We're looking at some big games coming up in this week, Sam. And I'm going to start with one that I want to talk about. We're looking at your favorite team, Chelsea. And we're looking at Tottenham Hotspur at Hotspur Stadium. Who do you got?
It's going to be a rough one. Chelsea out of a lot of players. Cole Palmer injured through the end of November into early December. And Tottenham has been on a rally so far. They're pushing 3rd in the Prem. They have a lot of young players. Chelsea, an even younger team, though. So I think with Chelsea's youth, Chelsea's speed, the way they play the game, I think Chelsea can come out on top of this one, but it's going to be a close one. I think 2-1, 1-0. close game.
You think Chelsea win it?
I think so.
I think I'm going to agree with you, honestly. Spurs, they're really shaky and they're really unpredictable, and I think one of these games they're just going to have a little mess up in the back, and I believe that Chelsea are also going to win. I think it's going to be close as well. I'm going to agree with you and say 2-1 on that game, and I'm going to tell you another game when we go to the German League. 5th place Bayern Leverkusen play 1st place undefeated Bayern Munich. What do you got for that one?
I'm going to have to take Bayern Munich. Leverkusen are coming off a Champions League game with a red and a big defeat, 7-2 to PSG.
Oh, wow.
Spirits can't be high right now. I just don't see them winning this game. I don't see it being close either. What about you?
What do you got for a score really quick before I answer?
3-0.
Oh, wow.
If I had to guess.
Yeah, I got the same feeling Sam does. I don't think that Leverkusen really have a shot here, and for that I'm going to go. I do think that Bayern might slip up, though. They might be a little high on their horse. I think that might be only like a 1-0, maybe a 2-0 game for Bayern Munich in a win, and I feel like Kane's going to be a scorer no matter what I say. And we got 2 more games that I want to look at really quick, and obviously I might be a little biased looking at this game, but Villa just came off a very good win against City this morning, and I think Liverpool-Villa will be a very good game to look at next week. What do you got on that?
If Liverpool can get their form back, I think, it would be an easy just one more game, 3 points for them, but the way they've been playing, I think it could be a rough one. I think it could go 2-1 either way.
I think it's going to be a game of we're going to salvage a point. I think that we're not going to win because of this form, but this is going to be our way to kind of get back into the form, kind of like work our way back up. I think it's going to be either a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw, and we're finally going to get a point in the Premier League out of about 4 games, which has been an absolute mess. And I think that's going to be a shot. And one more game, just really quick. I just want the prediction out of you really quick. I want to look at City and Bournemouth. Who do you got?
City, big loss today, but I'm going to have to go City. I think if Bournemouth takes it, they're 1 point closer to Arsenal, or only 1 point off Arsenal, which would shift the table a lot. But I think if City wins, they're back up in the top 3. And I think this is the win that City needs, and they're going to really be pushing for this win.
I'm going to go 2-1 on that game to City, but real quick, we're going to go to a break. We'll see you back here on WTOP-10.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No, but you've got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
If you like action, romance,
if you're watching this,
and highbrow humor,
Surface is this. Floor. Minch did not legitimately put his head in the toilet.
there's only one place to turn.
No!
Tune in to new episodes of
Oh boy!
only on WTOP.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oswegolazo. We got one more segment before we get to the illustrious and beautiful player of the week. But we're going to talk about the Champions League, the biggest league in soccer, in European soccer, I should say, because the Brazilian league don't like that.
It's arguable.
But we're going to talk about the bottom of the table before we talk about the top. The bottom, There's really not many surprises. I will say a couple, though. Villarreal is very surprising that they're 31st when they're like about 4th, 3rd in La Liga, my apologies. And Leverkusen 30th. With this managerial issue, I really could see them at 30th. And Benfica 35th. Oh my, what a fall from grace for Benfica. Second to last. They should be playing Europa, honestly. It's been a mess over there. Also, Juventus and Napoli, the current leaders of La Liga, in 23rd in the Champions League. That's a big surprise. Atletico Madrid also 19th. There's just a lot of teams that shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. A lot of Italian teams that should not be here. I think Benfica from Portugal, obviously, they should be higher up. This is not the Champions League performance that they wanted. Juventus, I mean, they are just tie after tie after tie. They cannot get their 3 points. They just have to settle for 1 point every game, and in the end, it's not going to be enough.
Yep, and what are we seeing at the top of the table, Sam?
At the top, to nobody's surprise, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern. I would say Arsenal, a little lower than everyone expected, but the same position they finished in last Champions League. Real Madrid in the 5th. Dortmund, they're doing a lot better in the Champions League than I would say they are in Bundesliga. Barca, very low compared to people's expectations. Liverpool, Chelsea, lower than the fans expected. Maybe some outside fans would say, yeah, this is expected, but Sporting is high up. That is a name that no one really expected to be anywhere near the top 10, near the automatic qualifiers. Tottenham, doing good. Nothing.
It's not special.
Nothing notable.
I'll tell you what, FK Karabag, 13th. That's a bit surprising in my opinion. I don't even know where they're from, if I'm honest. I couldn't tell you.
Cyprus, I believe.
Oh, wow.
That could be wrong.
I mean, if you talk about the outside fan saying that it's expected for Liverpool and Chelsea, I'll tell you what, we don't expect that. We expect maybe top 5, maybe a little top 7 even. I'd be happy with the top 7. But I mean, yeah. But besides that, the Champions League has been very entertaining. I mean, goals last week. What are some games from last week that were just insane?
Just some notable fixtures. PSG versus Leverkusen, like we mentioned earlier, 7-2. Both teams with a red card. I was actually watching that in class. I couldn't believe it. Do you have any games you wanted to mention?
Besides that, that was the main game. That was a ridiculous game. Arsenal absolutely destroying. I forgot exactly who it was.
Atletico.
It was Atletico. Arsenal absolutely destroying Atletico, and I think that PSV beating who they beat. It was a big upset. PSV upsetted. Was it
Napoli? I believe
it was Napoli. Yeah. Yes, PSV upsetted Napoli, and just Champions League's been very entertaining this year. It's been really just a roller coaster. You don't know who's gonna win. You don't have a single clue because Galatasaray, they beat Liverpool. I watched that game and I almost cried. I'm kidding, I didn't cry, but
that's true.
But it was a mess. And I think that this league so far has been the best league by a mile. Usually it is. It obviously is because everybody tunes into it. It's the biggest league in Europe. Every team, the best teams from Europe, all combined into one league, and that goes into the Champions League. And I think that so far we're in for a real good one.
It has been good so far. Lots of goals. I think I saw over 70 goals in the first few games of the league phase of the Champions League. That's some of the most I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And I think that you got any big games that you want to address coming up?
Just looking ahead here, I see Liverpool, Real Madrid.
Oh, God.
Bayern and PSG.
Wow.
That will be a good game. And I know a big game that I'm looking forward to, Barca and Chelsea, November 25th.
Oh, wow.
My hopes are not great. Cole Palmer is out through the Arsenal game in the Prem, through the Barca game in Champions League.
Oh, wow.
I think it could be our downfall. But the young team that Chelsea has been able to perform so far.
Yeah. And I think that PSG-Bayern game is going to be a little preview of the final, in my opinion. But we're going to get into the best segment in the entire world of soccer. Everything doesn't matter. The Ballon d'Or, scrap it. Nothing compared to the Player of the Week for Oswegolazo. And we're going to start off, obviously, we're not going to get right into it, man. We got to tease you guys a little bit. We can't give you the Player of the Week out of nowhere. But we're going to talk about some people maybe who could have got it. And I'm going to start off with talking about Brian Mbeumo. That's my personal honorable mention for the Player of the Week. There he is in all of his bald glory. Brian Mbeumo, he had a phenomenal week. He had 1 goal against Liverpool to beat them. If anything, Liverpool have been playing bad, yes, but Manchester United have been doing the exact opposite. Man United have been playing phenomenal. Lamens in goal has been great, and Mbeumo right at the helm too. He scored 2 goals in their win against Brighton earlier yesterday, actually, again on Saturday morning. And Brian Mbeumo has been absolutely phenomenal. And also, just really quick, I want to talk about Lemons too. They brought in Lemons after Onana was playing absolutely horrible. One of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen in the Prem. Also, Deer, terrible. But Lemons has came in. He hasn't had a clean sheet in 2 games, sure, but he's been phenomenal. He's such a presence in the net, and I think he's been a great goalie and a great experience for Manchester United.
I like him. He hasn't been the brick wall that I think they hoped he would be, but a lot of 2-1 wins for Man United with Mbeumo scoring most of these winners. I mean, I think he's in talks for Golden Boot.
Oh, wow.
He's up there. He's one of the best players in the Prem right now, I think.
Oh, wow. You got any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, not off the top of my head.
I'm thinking of Barca, too. I'm looking at Barca. They've had some pretty good games. Fermin Lopez has been stellar. I think that he's been a great player. 4 goals in the last 2 games, I think. Fermin Lopez, he did just score in El Clasico, even though they lost that game 2-1. And I think that he's a great young star. That's another version. We always talk about Lamine Yamal this, Lamine Yamal that. That's another youngster at Barcelona who's going to get a lot of growth. He probably might leave Barca just because of all the attention that Yamal's getting. In my opinion, he might. You never know. But I think Yamal and Fermin are going to be the future of Barcelona if he doesn't leave. And Fermin has been playing amazing. And I also want to take a look at one more player that is really under the radar because Kane is playing so good. I think that Luis Diaz, Mike mentioned him last show, Luis Diaz has been stellar in both categories, goals, assists, everything. He is the reason, in my opinion, that Bayern have been playing as good as they've been playing, and I think that Bayern wouldn't be where they are without Luis Diaz in that left winger position.
I think another big part of that Bayern team is Harry Kane. Coming from Tottenham, not many trophies to his name. Going to Bayern, he's been doing stellar so far, and I think he is in talks for some real silverware this season.
Yep, and we're finally going to announce Episode 3 Player of the Week for Oswegolazo. We're going to go back to Barcelona really quick because this guy has been the definition of the word clutch. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oswegolazo Player of the Week is Marcus Rashford, coming out of Manchester United. Look at that man. That's a beautiful man right there. He's been the happiest he's ever been. And, you know, I've hated on Manchester United. I'm going to cut him some slack this time because they've been playing pretty good recently and they're above Liverpool. But I think Marcus Rashford, out of his mind. If I'm looking at the stats right now, he just assisted Fermin's goal in El Clasico. That 2 goals against Newcastle, incredible in the Champions League. Also, 2 goals in their last matchup in the Champions League. Let me check really quick. I believe that was against Olympiacos. He scored 2 goals against Olympiacos in the Champions League too. And Sam, Marcus Rashford, Player of the Week.
Yeah, 2 goals. He scored a brace against Newcastle to give them the win. 2 goals against Olympiacos. Not much competition there with a 5-1 win, but I think Marcus Rashford, if he continues to play like this, he will also be in talks for some individual awards that will put some serious respect on his name.
Yep, and also I want to mention he got an assist in their last matchup against PSG in the Champions League. But that will really do it all for Oswegolazo tonight. I want to thank you, Sam, for showing up. I hope to see you a lot more often.
I hope to be on the show more.
I thank you all for watching tonight. We got a lot of stuff coming up, some really big games in the Champions League when I come back to you in 2 weeks. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm Nick Stetter. This is Sam Brewer, and we will see you next time.
What is good, music lovers and television watchers? Welcome to No Alternative, Oswego's premier music review show. I am DJ Dash here, Oswego's busiest music nerd, and joining me for the first time as my co-host of this show, I have the wonderful DJ.
It's Nate Hand. I have nothing really planned. I guess I'm the invisible hand, but let's roll with it.
He is a very cool guy who listens to a wide range of different alternative music, and he's going to provide some really good insight into a lot of that music. So to start off tonight,